Dratibi is my name. I'm a teacher. I'm a mental health advocate. I'm an inspirational speaker. I'm a coach. And above all, I love the Lord. And I serve as a pastor at Masaka Pentecostal Church. And I'm an author of the book, Overcome Rejection, Turning Your Greatest Dreams into Reality. And particularly, I want to talk about the impact of rejection on mental health, because it is one thing I advocate for. Why? Because our mental health determines a lot in terms of our total well-being. Why I talk about the impact of rejection on mental health is because rejection has been one of the serial killers of many of our people. And many people have struggled through rejections, and I'm one of them. I suffered a lot, and I used to be a victim of circumstance, but I chose to get to a place of strength, and I chose to be a voice to the voiceless out there. Why? I know rejection and issues to do with the mental health and depression has a lot of stigma attached to it. I remember growing up, we were ever reminded. In fact, across, I think, African context, many of us, men or boys, have been discouraged from sharing their experiences. We have been discouraged from sharing our emotions. We have been discouraged from sharing what we believe. Why? Because it is sometimes seen unmanly. So we were told, and I kept being reminded personally, that you be a man. Be a man. Don't cry like women. Don't share as if you're a woman. You be a man. Endure like a man. But at the end of the day, men have been discouraged from sharing their experiences. Men have been discouraged from speaking about their challenges as far as mental health is concerned. So I chose to be a voice sharing my experience. Why? Because I believe all of us will go through this. The Bible tells me, the Bible quotes 7 people, 7 men who suffered depression. One of them was a king, King David. One of them was Jesus himself. People like Elijah, Jonah, Moses. All of these 7 men suffered depression and mental health challenges, as quoted in the Bible. And we only see a few women who are talked about. For example, Hagar is the first person to be talked about who suffered depression. And then Hannah. But even when you look at the ratio of men to women, it is more men to women. But then men shy away. That's why I chose to be a voice. I chose to be able to speak life. I chose to be able to inspire. I chose to be able to be a voice. That, you know what? No, you don't have to commit suicide just because of the pains, because of the challenges of mental health. We don't have to go for suicide because it is not an option. There is still hope. We don't have to go for drugs because it will only destroy us. You know, I normally talk about mental health in line with an egg. You know, an egg represents our mind. You know, this egg has a potential for life. This egg has potential for growth. This egg, when we look at this egg, it has a lot of values. But under normal circumstances, that's when we see all these values. But what rejection does is rejection destroys the hard cover of this egg. Now, when you get a punch on this egg, what happens is with this kind of damage, there is nothing you can't expect life from this kind of egg. Why? Because when this egg has been cracked the way it has been cracked, there is no way you can expect it to hatch. Only you will, after 2-3 days, you will only begin to have the foul smell from the egg. And that is what rejection has been doing all through our lives. Destroying families, destroying communities. And at the end of the day, we are seeing increased cases of domestic violence. We are seeing increased cases of suicide and murder. We are seeing increased cases of depression and hopelessness and all that. But then here we are saying, you know what? No, there is still hope. Even when there has been this, there is still hope. Looking at God's ideal plan for each one of us, God's ideal plan for us is to live life from this side, where somebody is healthy in all sides of life. But what rejection does is it puts you in a place of confinement. It puts you in a place of pain, physically, financially, emotionally, mentally, all aspects of your life. And at the end of the day, it is from this place of hopelessness and of pain that many people have opted for other options. Sadly, these options have not been healthy for any one of us. So we are saying, no, we can still move from this place of pain. We can heal together. We can move from this place of pain to a place that God has prepared for us. We can go through this pain together and still be able to come out victorious in this side of the world that God created for us. Because that was God's original plan for each one of us, to live a healthy life, to live a healthy lifestyle. But because of the pains of abandonments, because of the pains of rejections, because of the pains of humiliations and all of that, we are seeing cases where mental health has been very, very, very affected. So that's why we are here, and that's why I opted to write these books, to be able to share my own lived experiences. Because sometimes when we just hear things that have not been experienced, then sometimes we don't get it right. But here I lived these experiences right from childhood all through my life. I know the struggles I had growing up, being abandoned and rejected, not only by the family but by the entire village. I know the pains of going through relationship breakups, not only once, not only twice, but 8 of them. These are serious ones. Leave alone those ones where I was fired before I could propose, or those ones who told me, no, I will give you answer, and until tomorrow there is no answer. And after going through the 80 serious heartbreaks, where even some of them were introduced to the family, some of them were introduced to the pastors, some of them were introduced to friends. But now at the end of the day, I am a married man and with children so far. How about if I'd given up just because of the first rejection of the heartbreak I had in the first relationship? I will not be married. And who knows, I will even be dead by now. Now, in this book, I dug deep down my entire life and the life of my entire family tree. I was able to identify serious issues. And it is in this book that I shared my personal journey of my experience, but then I was able to classify these rejections into 5 aspects. How does the rejection come socially, financially, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally? And then be able to also understand what are some of the causes in all those aspects, and then how do we then overcome this? But ultimately letting you know that you are not alone who can only suffer rejection. You are not alone. Many of us have gone through this. Even Jesus was rejected by the entire village, by his own people. Me too, I've been there. Maybe you could be out there suffering and knowing that, what is there for me? But there is still hope. Mental illness can be treated. Mental health challenges can be treated. Number 1, I want to encourage you who is watching out there. 1, seek for help. Challenge is World Health Organization reports that 80 to 90% of people who actually seek for medical help get treated. Sadly, in our African context, we feel when somebody has a mental health challenge, it is because of witchcraft. Therefore, we don't want to go for medication. I want to encourage out there, please and please, when you begin to feel any signs of mental health challenge, it is okay not to be okay. It is well not to be well. Seek for medical help. Get it treatment. You will be fine. We've all been there. Number 2, find a place of fellowship. Don't be in self-isolation, because self-isolation fuels depression, and depression fuels suicide thoughts. Please, I encourage you, don't let yourself be in self-isolation. Have people you fellowship with. Have people you encourage. Have people who can talk to you. Number 3, eat well, eat healthy. What has happened to you is not the end of the story, but how you handle it is what matters most. Yes, somebody can tell you no, but how you respond to that is what matters. And then also connected to that, I want to encourage, don't react, but respond. When people react, the outcomes are negative, but when you respond, the outcomes are positive. Many of us have tried, and it is because of that we are able to be where we are. When you respond, you look at a coin, you will not see a coin with the two sides. You will see a coin with the three sides. That's when you respond. But when you react, you only see one side of the coin and then you make conclusions. Also, I have learned this. It is easier to forgive strangers than family members. But I want to encourage you, learn to forgive your family. It may be hard, but it's doable. Choose to forgive yourself first of all. My worst moment was when I was hit by this hardcore rejections, which came because I was broke. So I thought working so hard will actually help. So, being a teacher, I was teaching in 4 schools, but almost at the end of every month, people saw I was getting much money, but actually, most of the money was spent on transport. My health was affected. I was teaching in 4 schools, and you can imagine, there were even schools where I was teaching at night. They were like, we cannot afford to lose you. We want your service. Please, for you be teaching night hours, night preps, morning and then evening. For some schools, I will go to early in the morning, be in one school. By break time, I go to the next school. By lunchtime, I go to the next school. Before I knew it, behold, pressures were mounting on me. I did not know. And at first, I didn't realize it. But I didn't know the last time I went to the bathroom. I became somebody who hardly visited the bathroom. Time came, I did not care about what was actually happening. All I thought about was work and my house. And things were moving through. I began having suicidal thoughts. And when I share this, sometimes people are like, what? How? But I am very glad to the members, some 4 members of our church, Masaka Pentecostal Church. These 4 members met me and were able to sit me down. They were able to help. That was in 2012 to 2014. That was my worst years. Though others will see me, because I am a sanguine, I am a fun-loving guy, I will always put up a smile, but deep inside I was rotting. And from those experiences, then when my marriage journey became a hurdle, that also was another huge bomb right there. The story is here. 3 years of standstill, and a lot of things that happened during that period. But I am glad God helped me to get out of it. God helped me to overcome my depression. God helped me to deal with the pains of the rejection. And finally, I'm speaking from a place of strength.